Alright, what's up guys? As you can already tell, I'm sure, by the title of this video, the thumbnail, and what you're looking at right now, this is not fighter content. So if you're only here for fighter content, then this video is not for you. However, if you're here for a better character that plays the exact same as fighter, then hey, I want to stick around. This is it. This is it for you. This will be my first Barbarian guide. Because recently, I've been playing Barbarian. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Fighter sucks, and this class is a lot better. Like a lot better. It's literally the best class in the game. I've talked about it before, but Barbarian is kinda OP. And I'm going to tell you why. One, like just kind of like an overall, because I mean I haven't done this Barb guide for, so just give like an overall, like, talk about the class, I guess you could say, and like the reasoning behind why Barb's so good. Because obviously, and I could just say it, and you're like, oh, like why is Barb so good? Nothing's really changed about it. I mean, the reason being is, so basically, you see these stats here: 41 strength, 24 agi, 171 HP. I opened this, 44% damage reduction physical, 43% magical. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And then you consider my gear is pretty mid, all things considered. I mean, it's like some okay blue gear, not really like min-maxed at all. Like, this is magic damage on it. It's not that fantastic, right? But it's pretty good. Alright, now, the reasoning behind Barb being so broken is, 1, Barb is the best counter to magic damage in the game. And what are the best classes in the game? Cleric, Wizard. Hell, even Warlock's getting pretty good and pretty oppressive. So some of the best classes in the game, and the best class in the game, well, I guess not the best, because Barb's the best, but the best, not including Barb, the best class in the game is Wizard, followed by Cleric. And what does that mean? That means if you're going to tank those, you need to be good at tanking magic damage. Barb has a giant HP pool, and they can get a ton of MR very, very easily. Like, 43% is very low. You can hit 70% on Barb with not a whole lot of effort. Another reason this character's so OP is a buff ball comp. And if you don't know what buff ball is, because you've definitely seen it, but if you don't know what buff ball is, basically it means two support style characters that are buffing one, and they roll around the map and just obliterate everything in their way, thus forming a buff ball. It's a combination between buffs and a death ball. Everybody knows what a death ball is. So basically, how Barb is played is you play like Wizard or Bard or Cleric or some combination of Wizard, Bard, Cleric. You buff the Barbarian up with as much as you possibly can. Haste, Invis, all the Bard songs that I can't think of the names of, Protection, Bless, etc., etc. All of those, you throw all those on him, and then you send the Barb into the team. And I'm going to be honest, if your Barb is geared and he got a good engage, the fight's going to be over before you even make it to him, because he's already killed all three people. I'm sure you guys have seen this happening all the time, even if you don't play it yourself. Just from watching Twitch streams of like high tier players, buffball is the most oppressive and prevalent comp in high level of play, because it's so easy to play, the gear requirements aren't that crazy, and it's so damn effective. It is ridiculous how insane it is. I was playing it earlier today, and I'll probably upload the video like tomorrow or something. But I was playing it earlier today, and we literally rolled over two teams significantly more geared than us, just because I invised in and I insta-killed one of them before they could even react. And they're playing down like 2v3. And at that point, they just can't do anything. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, like, hey, like, like Barb does physical damage. What about Fighter countering it? Fighter's the counter to physical damage. They stack a ton of PDR. Well, let me just point your attention to the screen. Warmaul has 30% innate armor penetration. That's kind of insane. So all those 70, 80% PDR fighters stacking all their armor, thinking they're immortal, they get smacked by the Maul, and they literally take 30, 40% of their HP, and if it's a headshot, they can literally get two-shot. I've two-shot many fighters with a Maul. Not even crazy gear. Not to mention, for example, if your gear gets really good and you don't want Rage, you don't want Warcry, you can run Reckless Attack. And this literally makes it so you can one-shot them. If you hit a fighter with Reckless Attack on a headshot with a Warmaul, you are hitting them for effective true damage. It is there is no mitigation being taken into account there. It is literally true damage. And so, with that being said, I will move on into the perk choice. You're pretty much always gonna go tank perks. The reason being is Barb has such crazy damage because Warmaul obviously 59 base damage here. Viking Sword's got a good 33, and then you have so much strength. You have so much damage, you don't actually need to build damage. So your build is just full tank. You get Robust, 10% max HP. Iron Will, it gives you 100 MR, which is around 30% actual magic resist, and it ignores knockback. They just buffed this perk for some reason. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why. No one knows why they just buffed Iron Will. This was already their guaranteed must-run perk. Absolutely had to do it. Everybody was running it, and they buffed it. So I don't understand that. No one else really does either, but hey, they did it. And then we have Crush. Crush, pretty much, it just means if you hit something, you can destroy stuff. You can destroy chests with two-handed weapons, you can destroy doors, and you can overpower blocks. Something that's very, very important for this is you can overpower heater shields if they're running it. Also, if you're chasing someone down, obviously you see I have 12 resourcefulness and only 24 agi. I open things very, very slowly. So why open them when I can hit them with my hammer and break them down? And then that door can't be closed on me ever again. And then for your last perk, I like running Berserker. The reason for this being is obviously I said, you don't run damage. However, most of your other perks don't really matter. You don't run Axis, so this doesn't matter. For Axe specialization doesn't matter. Carnage is very situational. It's only like this only procs when you get a kill, so it doesn't do anything to help you before you get that first kill. Executioner, once again for Axis, which we don't use. Morale boost actually has some merit. It's not awful. However, 12% healing isn't that much. It's really not a whole lot. And most of the time, it's not really going to make a noticeable difference in a fight, It'll help, but not a crazy amount. If you have like a cleric or something, then it probably doesn't matter anyways. Because most of the time, the first kill you get, you're going to be at full HP after the kill anyways, because they didn't even realize it was coming. Two-hander, this is only 5%, as opposed to Berserker, which I was talking about in a minute. Savage, you never want to run this because you want to wear a chest piece. And then Potion Chugger, this doesn't really matter. The only thing this would matter for is like Troll's Blood or a really good potion. For bad potions, this doesn't help at all. And then, so the one you run is Berserker. Basically, every 10% HP you lose, you get 3% more physical power, up to a max of 30%. So you see why this is already better than Two-Hander. So if you if you drop below 90% HP, you're already getting more damage that Two-Hander's giving you. And I say, you're going to be full HP after most of the time you first hit. But after that first swing, you're going to get hit. And even if you have really high resistances, you're going to take damage. This is literally just free damage you have to do nothing about. And then for your skills, I'm going Rage Warcry. Rage is very useful for getting on top of the team, and it gives you more HP with the strength. So you're getting 15 strength. It's 30 HP below the 50 soft cap. If you go above the 50 soft cap, it's giving you 1. So you see, I'm 41, so I'll be getting, 9, 6, I think I'll be getting around 24 HP for this. Sorry if I had that math follows you, but yeah, I'll be getting around 24 HP with this, and it gives me 15% move speed. And Warcry will give me give me and my teammates 25% more HP as well. If you look at the other skills, Achilles actually isn't bad. It's really good for certain classes chasing down. Like, for example, if you're chasing down squishy classes, this is really good because they actually can run. Like a rogue, for example, this is really good at killing rogues. If you hit them with the Francisca with Achilles, they basically can't run for 2 seconds. However, on most classes, isn't that useful. Clerics, it won't matter because they have like a bunch of debuff resistance, so it goes away really fast. Fighters aren't running from you anyways. And then things like wizards, this is good against mostly squishy classes that can run. Wizards, rogues, warlocks, rangers, etc., etc. Those are the main things you're going to benefit from on this. Blood Exchange, this is just not good. I'm going to be honest with you. You reduce your max HP by 25%, and then you only get back 5% per swing. Most of the time, you're killing people faster. This will ever really matter. So you're not actually healing that much, so it's not a good perk. Life Siphon, this is basically Sacrifice that the Warlocks have. You lose 24 HP over 8 seconds, so you lose 3 HP per second, and you gain 4 at all attribute during the duration. I mean, it's not really that important. Like, this isn't that good. I mean, it's pretty bad, honestly. So you're basically never going to use this. Like, it's just not that much. Like, you get 4 in all. However, this gives me 15 strength. The only thing this is giving me is this gives me 4 agi, effectively. instead of, and I would lose 11 strength, gain 4 agi basically is all that would do for me, and a slight amount of will, which would give MR. Then you have Reckless. I already talked about Reckless. Reckless is definitely runnable. If you don't want to run one of these, I think this is your next best choice. It allows you to pretty much one-tap fighters or clerics very, very easily. And if they don't know what you're doing and they don't pay attention to it, you can catch them off guard very easily. The only downside to this and Achilles is the fact that it's on the next hit. So if you miss your hit and hit a wall, get blocked, any of that, it will take it away, and then it's just useless. And then you have Savage Roar. This is actually, so this sounds good. It says you reduce their physical damage bonus by 25%. However, this isn't their actual damage. It isn't a 25% reduction in their damage. What this is you see this physical power bonus here. It just reduces this by 25%. So this is the modifier that increases your damage. So if I do 100 damage, it gets increased by 26%. It reduces this percent modifier by 25%, which actually ends up being a lot less effective than you might imagine. Alright, and with that being said, we're going to go and move on to weapons and gear choices. I've already spoken about it a bit, but obviously your best weapon, hands down, is the War Maul. War Maul makes it so if you get buffed into an enemy team, you basically two-shot every character in the entire game, and this eliminates your best counter, which is Fighter. If you have a War Maul, Fighter basically can't 1v1 you anymore, or if they can, it's very, very hard, and it also requires a very specific set of gear, primarily a halberd, to outrange you. However, if you get invised on them and they don't realize or don't see you coming, it doesn't matter, because halberd or not, they're going to die 100%. Because you hit them once and they're so slow they can't ever get away from the rest of your swings. War Maul is just pretty much broken in general. It really was pretty bad. They gave it the 30% armor pin, and it just made this weapon just amazing. It skyrocketed it straight to the top. And then for your choice of one-handed weapon, obviously you do want a one-handed weapon. The Viking Sword is now your best option. It used to be Horseman's or Hatchet. However, Horseman's and Hatchet both get a pretty big nerf, and they made their animation significantly slower. So overall, the weapon swings much, much slower, and they drop their damage by a very, very large margin. Horseman's, I think max damage for a Horseman right now is like 28 or 29, maybe. And that's on like a unique, that's on a famine. That's on the highest rarity of Horseman's Axe. It might not even be that high, it might be a little bit lower. All I know is I've seen purple Horsemen's with 27, so I can't imagine the unique would be more than 28 or 29. And then obviously you want to run a lantern in your offhand. The lantern, just get a good statted lantern, and even if you don't have a good statted lantern, it's still, it's still as light. You don't have to have a torch out for it. So, but if you get a good statted lantern, it's just free stats you have with no penalty basically. And then on for your gear, other than this, I mean, so the thing about Barb is Barb really doesn't have many other options to build. You basically have to go War Maul, because if you don't go War Maul, you lose the fighters. And for your one-handed weapon, like, sure, you could use Horseman's if you get a really good one. However, it's just going to feel really bad, and it's just worse than Viking Sword. So absolutely 100% go War Maul. It's literally not worth using other two-handed weapons. Double Axe, Bardiche, Felling Axe, all of those are so much worse. They're so bad. War Maul, unironically, is carrying this class to the fucking promised land. And then, like I said, Viking Sword, just, better than Horseman's. If you get a really good Horseman's and you want to try it out, feel free. This is not as a big... This Viking Sword to Horseman's isn't as big of a difference as it is as War Maul to everything else. This is just really good. It's the most common one. Okay, for armor, the Viking helmet is your best in slot helmet. The reason being, as you can see there, it has a base of 2 agility on it. So that's one less stat roll you have to honestly prioritize. For example, if you have I don't have any Gearman boost, but if you have one, then you have to roll like agi, strength, armor rating. You have to roll extra stats, which requires higher rarity and better luck. Chest piece, Northern Full Tunic's the best one. It gives you a ton of armor rating, a ton of MR, and it actually doesn't have that much movement speed. Like, for example, look, you're losing 10 MR to a Regal Gambeson, but I'm gaining like 15 armor rating, just that green rarity, and it's the exact same move speed penalty. Northern Full Tunic, just way better. Pretty much always want to run this. And then, same as Fighter, you're gonna want to run Riveted Gloves and Heavy Leather Legs. Same reason as the Viking helmet, they have innate stats on them, these being 2 strength, and these also being strength. You could say, okay, well, why would you run Loose Trousers? Because Loose Trousers give Algae, and Algae is really good. Problem with Loose Trousers is you lose a ton of armor rating. It's like 20 armor rating or something insane. Maybe even a little bit higher at the absolute highest rarities, like Purple, Legendary, Unique. But for the most part, you're going to want to run a Heavy Leather, and you just do exactly what I did here, and you go for the Algae rolls. The best rolls you could possibly get are If it's like on a piece like this that already has innate strength, it would be agi, armor rating plus all. Those are your best rolls you can go for. If you're looking at like a Viking helmet that already has agi built in, it'd be strength, armor plus all, and then for like it's a piece that has nothing, plus 2 all, strength, agi, armor rating. All of those are good stats. Obviously, you're not going to get all of them. If you absolutely have to choose, like just having plus 2 all and then like 15 armor rating would be better than having like 3 strength, 3 agi, and then no other roll. Because you're only losing 1 strength, 1 agi, and 15 armor rating gives you a ton of stats. So yeah, I'm sure you guys can catch on here what we're doing. Basically, like I said, is you don't have to build any damage. You just build raw stats and you build tankiness, and you let your fact that you're swinging a 59 damage weapon and you just have insane strength to give you all the damage that you have. Alright, and then like I said, for riveted gloves, literally the same reason laser legs. And then for the boots, I'm using rugged right now. However, you can run heavy boots as well. Heavy boots give you a ton of armor. Rugged boots do, however, give you a lot of magic res. It's pretty much just whichever one you have better of. I don't think one is significantly better than the other. Obviously, one is more armor, while one is more MR. If you're going to compare them in terms of efficiency, rugged boots are only about 10 armor rating less than heavy. However, heavy boots have no MR whatsoever, I think. Let me just double check that really quick if I have any in here. I don't. I'm okay. They're not the Taylor, right? Yeah, that's just awkward. I just don't have any heavy boots in here. Unlucky, I guess, guys. So you just have to take my word for it. But these give way more MR than they lose armor rating, if that makes sense. And then for jewelry, I recommend going agi jewelry, as you see here. Ideally, you'd get something like this that also rolls strength, or something like this where you're rolling armor rating. Thing is, you have so much strength, and it's so easy for you to get strength, especially if you consider you're running rage. Just gives 15 free. Agi is much harder to get, so ideally you want to run agi gear. Obviously, you see I'm running a strength cloak. However, I just don't really have that many good agi cloaks. Like most of these are all pretty mid. But ideally, you want to run Fox Pendant, Rings of Quickness, and Adventurer's Cloak. I believe it's called. Yeah, you want to run the Adventurer's Cloak here. Prioritize agi. For a late game build, the stats you're looking for, you want to get like 50, with this level of gear that you can obtain right now, 50 strength, 45 agi, maybe even more agi, like 50 strength, 50 agi if possible. You basically just want to try to push yourself to the soft cap for strength and just stack as much agi as possible. Because the more agi you have, the faster you move, the faster you swing your weapon, the faster you kill teams. And I think that just about sums it up for the Barb guide for now. There might be a couple things I missed. I'm really not entirely sure. Obviously, I don't play this character as much as Fighter, so I'm not as knowledgeable about the character. I'm pretty sure most of the information I've given you is all pretty accurate. Obviously, however, like I said, I don't play it a lot, but I am, I'm a good player at the game, so I do understand this class. I mean, it's not a very, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Barbarian's one of the easiest classes in the game to play. You watch this guide, you pick up Barbarian tomorrow, in a week from now, you're going to be rolling through high roller lobbies if you have a good 2-man to play with that are just buffing you up. It's really that easy. Like, if you are tired of playing Fighter, you're like, man, this class just feel like it doesn't do too much. I have to work so hard for minimal results. Barbarian is the complete opposite. You have to do the bare minimum to achieve maximum results, because this class, unironically, is just like playing on easy mode. If Fighter's hard mode, then Barbarian is like swapping to the tutorial. It's like you just run through, you swing your maul, everybody dies, nothing kills you, you're just happy, everybody runs your gear, so it's easy to get. It's just the greatest thing ever. Like, Barbarian is like having that power trip fantasy in games. That's what Barbarian is. It's like, when you hit the end game level and you become and you go back to an early game level and you're super OP and you just one-shot everything and nothing does damage to you. That's what playing Barbarian's like. So if that sounds fun to you and that's something you enjoy, then play Barbarian. I recommend it. As you see, like, if you just compare my inventory here and then I go over here and I swap to my Fighter, and you see this, like, this is depressing. My Fighter gear is honestly, my Fighter gear is not even bad, I ain't gonna lie. My Fighter gear is pretty good. However, my Fighter is significantly, like, worse off than my Barbarian. Right now, I'm 100% confident going against Barbarian into High Roller and wiping lobbies. On my Fighter, if I feel like if I went in, there's like an 80% chance I die. Just today alone, I've had 2 to 3 lobbies where I've done things on Barbarian that with Fighter would be physically impossible. Like, I chased 2 Warlocks around for like a minute and a half straight with them hydraing me and cursing me and everything. and I just tanked it all and eventually caught him and killed them. If I was on Fighter, I would have died in the first like 10 seconds. But anyways, I think that just about sums it up for my Barbarian guide. As always, if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate reading your comments. I try my best to respond to all of them. If I don't get to them, I'll normally read them and I will like them. You know, if they deserve to be liked. Some of them don't. You know, just a few of them. But I'm just kidding. But you know, if you have any questions or comments, if you think I'm wrong about something, or there's something I left out or forgot, or feel like it's worth mentioning, feel free to comment it down below. I would be happy to debate with you in the comments on it, or maybe I won't. Who knows? But yeah, that just about sums it up. And until next time, guys, enjoy your Barb gameplay. Peace.